Hi, how's it? Kindly please excuse the noise of the fan in the background. I have to keep on saying that. I have to keep it on. My phone overheats and it's summer now, so even nights are quite warm. And it's night time now. Well, it's not really summer, it's spring. But I don't know, it's hot. Anyway, look, I don't even know what to say, but I just feel like I have to say something. Maybe just mention that my acne is wild, out of control, and that's a thing. Anyway, look, I'm gonna work really hard to bring back my silence detector so that I don't run through my videos hoping to be perfect in the way that I speak. With the hope of removing silences. Are you disquieted by my burping? I'm sorry. Whoops. That's just my life. Yeah, it's Saturday. That's not what I wanted to say. And I'm supposed to be chilling, and that's exactly what I'm doing. That's why I'm even recording at night. I wasn't in the mood earlier, but I guess I am now. Yeah, boy. Yep, boy, yes. Did I make mention of the fact that makeup that I'm wearing is courtesy of Beauty Plus? If not, now you know. If you don't know, now you know. How am I feeling? Look, the attack on my person as at yesterday, that I was talking about in my yesterday video, that's still going on. That is still like a whole thing. And I'm sitting here on some ooh, yeah. I bang your jealousy. Yeah, I'm really just kind of dragging my body through the mud, but at least it's Saturday, so I get to just kind of plonk in bed and pretend I'm not even hurting. I really don't want this to be long, guys. I don't have anything to say. Like, I do, but I don't. You know, like, it's weekend. Key weekend, team. In terms of finding a silence detector, I still haven't, okay? Not one anyway that I'm satisfied with. But I'm gonna find a way around it. I literally don't know what to say. I discovered the other day that silence detection can work even with a fan in the background. It's just that your parameters gotta change. You know what I'm saying? 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 I need to see a dermatologist, you guys. Look at my skin. And I'm like, as in, whatever, wicked. I guess that's what you get. Ooh, my skin's falling apart. Just like the lipstick keeps falling off my face. Cause it's not real lipstick. Ooh. Anyway, yeah, so like, you know, this is it. My phone was on. Did I just say my phone was on? I'm losing my thought. Oh goodness, like whatever. Look, okay, I'm going through a lot. Yes, as for my silence detection, I really want it. I do. So I'm gonna pray about it. Lord, please give me silence detection. I just finished the prayer. It's gone up to heaven and sitting in a jar. Come back down, and this video, watch this space. It's gonna have edited silences. Oh, boo, yeah. I don't want to sing. I sang last week and I didn't like it. Or earlier this week. I don't want to sing. Ooh, yeah, see, when you've got sehuapa all up in your grill, like what? Sehuapa, guys. As in like dead meat. Yeah, when you got all that, you're gonna look like me. But at least it's a Saturday and I'm chilling. I'm maxing and I'm relaxing. I'm chilling. Oh, it's a chill. When you're chilling, things just go less chilly. When you're maxing and relaxing, things go relaxing and maxing, and then they go chilly. I don't know. I said I didn't want to sing. I didn't mean to do that, but I did. I've literally got brain freeze. Brain free! Now my throat is choking. Ooh, wow. You know, being fosterization, being forceful. Speaking of forceful of which, yo, I know, Gaslighting out there, though, yo, yes, like it, but, yeah, but, like, I literally don't understand, I don't get it, I don't understand. The coercion of the wicked. They be out just shoving you into a little squeezy joint. But I guess it's similar to rape that way. Nobody understands why a man would just go in a woman when she doesn't want to, but they do it anyway. So I guess it's the same craziness with witchcraft. witchcraft. Like, people are like, no, I don't want to be a doctor. And the witch is like, you're gonna be a doctor. And you're like, no, but I want to be an engineer. No, you're gonna be a doctor. Whoa, like, it's rape. It's mind rape. In my particular case, they were like, no, you're not gonna work out. And I'm like, no, but I like to jive. You're gonna sit down and do nothing. This woman from South Africa, she was like, you're gonna abandon your ministry. And I'm like, no, but I can't. It's keeping me alive. It's keeping me good and healthy and fresh. It's loving me a lot. No, you're gonna stop. No, I'm not. I'm not gonna stop. You're gonna stop. No, I'm not. You're gonna. But no. I said no. It's rape. Do you see? Do you see what I'm getting at? It's proper like a spiritual rape. It's literally spiritual rape. They try to chart the courses of people's destinies and stuff, you know? And they're like, you're gonna do what I say you must do. You're gonna do it. And the person's like, not really. And then they do it anyway. They like go and curse some people to do things they didn't sign up for. It's rape. And unfortunately other people get raped, but fortunately others it's just attempted rape. Either way, even with attempted rape, leaves a lot of PTSD. So they leave people all scarred and stuff. You know, why are you driving me to a purpose I didn't sign up for? Why are you forcing me to be your wife? Why are you forcing me to drop my degree? Why are you forcing me to date some strange guy? Why are you forcing me to sleep around? Why are you forcing me to leave my ministry? Why are you forcing me to stop working out? Why are you forcing me to quit my job? Why are you forcing me to abort my baby? Why are you forcing me to... Like, I could go on. Oh, listen, cha. Anyway, I don't like witches, guys. I like a purple hatred. It's blue hatred, like my eyeshadow. Except it's not that cute. I can't stand them. I really hate them. I'm sorry, like some people might be Aja on some corral, but there's no room for hatred in the kingdom of heaven. And I'm like, have you ever seen Romans 9? Jacob, I have loved, Esau, I have hated. Jacob said, the wicked, I can't stand them, not Jacob, David. Was I God, the wicked? Okay, maybe he didn't cough like me. Or maybe he did. Yeah, anyway, David is like, oh, God, the wicked. I hate them with perfect hatred. So, yeah, no, I hate them with perfect hatred. I know I'm not the only one. I'm not the only person out here that can't stand a certain type of people because of just how abusive they are. I mean, where have you ever seen a victim of a rapist being like, oh, I just love the guy that did that to me. I just love him. I wish he was a little different, though. I mean, like, yo, let's just talk about it. It's like looking at rape, nah? It's like considering rape like a character flaw. Hey, it's not a character flaw. It is violence. Like, no, you know, it's like they trying to make witchcraft like the way they're so irresponsible with people's lives. Like, they have to be cut off, like shut out entirely, like from the earth. They just need to be thrown in the abyss. Listen to my case, okay? Listen to my argument about witches, like just hearing me out. Imagine a person that likes like picking their nose, okay? And you have a big fat crush on them, but they've got a low-key secret like habit of picking their nose, looking at their snot, and then looking around all over the show and then eating it. It's so disgusting, like what, right? But you got a crush on this person. And then you tell your friend, on some, yo, my friend, I met this guy, he's so hot, he's so fly, he's so beautiful. Yo, he's handsomeness, that one. But the other day I busted him eating his own snot. I was so turned off, and then the two of you laugh. Wah, 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 wah. If only he did not have that as an issue, though. Yeah, that's a bad habit. That is a bad habit. That is a bad habit that a person really, girl, if you is prepared to like go and like kiss a man with snot in his nose, then I guess you're stronger than the rest of us. Okay, like that's something that if your girl ends up with that guy, you just gonna look at her on some, yo, I wonder what kissing is like, but anyway, girl, like that's your man. I ain't judging, but ew, it's not the kind of man, it's not the kind of thing that would cause you as a friend of this chickie to be like, girl, you gotta leave him. No, the situation is really serious though. I mean, he eats his snot. What's gonna happen next? Hey, he might just eat like snot at your wedding reception and embarrass you. Is that really the future that you want? This guy's gonna ruin your life. No, it's not that deep. It's not that deep. You just laugh, you giggle about it, and you're like, yo, my girl is dating a snot eater. What? But like, you don't think it's dangerous for the friend to be in there. It's just kind of gross. It's disgusting. The dude has a bad habit. Another thing, when a person has got like, like a tendency to not call you back on time, but they definitely ultimately call you back. Maybe after 2 hours, they don't, basically always late. Yeah, that's a character flaw. That's a character flaw that, it could be a train smash, but really some things, it's like you win some, you lose some. Nobody's perfect. Just make sure you at least pitch on time for our wedding, or we'll set the wedding time super early so that when you arrive, it'll be on time. Yeah, you've got that problem with time management, but it's not a train smash. It's not a train smash. We can work around your time management issues, husband. So time management in this particular regard, you guys, is a character flaw. Picking your snot and eating it, that's a bad habit, Not necessarily a character flaw, but a bad habit. Time management, character flaw type thing. What's another like character flaw that you can think about out here in these streets? Somebody that does not, like, you imagine getting into a relationship with like a guy that, struggles to be all mushy, struggles to be 100% loving, but really and truly they show it in other ways. Like, yeah, they might not buy flowers, but they regard the fact that last week you made mention of the fact that you really crave lasagna, and then like they come back home with lasagna later on. It's like, oh, he's so thoughtful. So his character flaw over there is that he's not loving enough. That could be a train smash, it could be, but that's not the kind of thing that could land a person like 6 feet under. When, however, brother be out here walking around with a dagger trying to drive it into your heart, no, that's not a character flaw. It's not a bad habit, guys. When a guy is whipping his manhood in public, all over the show, charging women saying, I want to take you, that's not a character flaw. That is a psychosis. That is a psychopathy. This is murder. Like, just gawking at me. A man that's gonna go and just, grab your body, make you like a rag doll, and just throw you against the television. That's not a character flaw. That is not a bad habit. That's a psychosis. That is something that your girl should be like, yo, sisters. As in, look, last week you came with a blue eye. The week before then, there was a burn wound on your arm. Next time, we're gonna be going to a funeral. You have to leave this guy. Does that sentence make sense? Yeah, it makes a total amount of sense. Yeah, it's a serious matter. It's the kind of thing that if your girl is out here making wedding arrangements with a man that did that to her, you might want to call the popo. You might want to stage an intervention to stop the wedding. You might want to be the person standing on the wedding day when the preacher says, speak now, forever hold your peace. You might want to say some things. That's the kind of stuff that makes you block a marriage. Witchcraft is a psychosis. It is a man that slaps a woman. It is a man that like burns your hand when you're ironing a shirt, and then he decides that your hand also is creased. That's not a character flaw. That's a psychosis. And witchcraft is a burn wound. Witchcraft is a stab in the heart. Witchcraft is the kind of stuff that will land you in a duffel bag with multiple pieces of your body therein being picked up on the side of the street by the police, waiting for your family to come and identify the remains. That's witchcraft. It's not a bad habit. It's not a character flaw. It's a psychosis. So when these psychopaths that are into doing sorcery want to come back into your life, when you get back together with a person like that in a relationship, be it a friend or even a lover, you're asking to have your body one day land in a duffel bag on the side of the street, chopped up into multiple pieces to be found by the police, taken therefore to the coroners to do an identification using your mother's hair follicles for DNA, because they can't ID your body given that this guy thoroughly, before chopping you up into millions of pieces, burned you with acid. Yeah, that's what you're waiting for. That's what you're waiting for. I'm actually gonna tell you a story. You guys know I got stories for days. I got stories. Guess today I thought I didn't have anything to say, but now that we started talking, I've got stuff to say. I've got a conversation. Okay, Karabo, get to the point. There was this young gentleman back in the day when we were all young. Crew of friends, He was my man's boy. He was my boyfriend's friend. So he was part of the crew. You know how you all just become friends because you're all dating in the same like sort of kind of circle? Yeah, so he was one of the boys, one of the peoples. That's what's good. We loved him. Hey, but Booga be dating a Jezebel. Like, what? Don't nobody move that chick. That chick that he was with. The female he was with, you guys. Ay, 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 ay. Lord have mercy on us. First of all, you could tell with the character flaws. I did let you guys know that witchcraft changes personalities. And so when a person is very heavily involved in the dark, they're gonna struggle to be truly virtuous, truly godly, truly friendly. Because like in Galatians 5, demons magnify the fruit of the sinful nature. And the fruit of the sinful nature, please go read them in Galatians 5. Among them are things like rivalries, dissensions, hostilities, seditions, fornications, orgies, just all these character flaws that make a person one that leaves a lot to be desired when they're walking around in the street. They're not friendly people. They can't stay consistently friendly. They're not nice people. I know of a woman that used to be my friend at MTN that upon dabbling with sorcery went from hot to cold. She went from warm, loving, one of the sweetest people I ever knew, to flip of a personality overnight. I have a relative also, 180-degree change from the time that she started dabbling with witchcraft. It changes personality. So a person that's very heavily involved in the darkness will struggle to remain friendly. They're what you would call sometimes, it's not always witchcraft, however, with this, toxic people. Like, you just can't deal. They're full of backbiting, they come in between your words, they cut you off, they interject, they are sometimes just called mean, hostile. Okay, I know of a friend, the one that the colleague that was a work friend, that was one person, a relative I told you guys about, but also one of my cousins boyfriends. One of my cousin's boyfriends, if anything, today they're married to one another. This guy was so nice. He was like one of those like stand-up guys that every mom would love for their daughter type thing. He went from being that sweet, bubbly, bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, everywhere he's at, everybody's happy. He went from that to every time we'd be hanging out at a braai or whatever, just killing it, kicking it, chilling, eating some chakalaka. He'd be the quiet zombie-like guy in a corner, frustrated, upset, wondering when we're gonna go home. And he became very heavy on my cousin. I guess they deserve each other. They ended up married in the marriage. But he was the first one to start. If anything, he introduced her to sorcery and now he can't stand her. It's like, whoa, you did this to her. Anyway, whatever. He went from being the life of the party stand-up guy to the kind of man that will make a mama be like, are you sure you want to marry this guy? Anyway, yeah, my own ex-boyfriend, another one, life of the party. Today he's just a blob of emptiness. Witchcraft changes personality. I cannot recommend to people enough to avoid this stuff because it has ramifications. There are consequences. You don't get to have your bread buttered on both sides. Witchcraft is like asking the devil to make you filthy rich, like rubbing a genie in a bottle, and then because he heard the word filthy, he goes on right ahead, boom, to plaster your walls with filth, with dirt, with manure, while also there's like a suitcase in front of you that has gold in it. It's like, could you not just give me the gold alone? Couldn't you just give me the gold alone? Like, you literally come packaged with like a villainous personality, and there is no getting out of that personality, believe it or not, like it or not, without Jesus. Because these demons, when they're in your body, they're not gonna leave just because you stopped using a Ouija board, playing with some crystals out here in these streets, rolling around in a seance, hookah chakaring, cutting up some onions in your kitchen, trying to slay your girl's career. They're not gonna leave just because you stopped doing all that. Demons don't just leave your body because you stop practicing witchcraft. They don't. They leave your body because you got exorcised or you got delivered. You got the darkness in you was taken out in the name of one only, and his name is Jesus. So absent of turning your life over to Jesus Christ, your personality gets solidified purely because once upon a time in 1997, once upon a time in 2003, you dabbled with the Ouija board and now your personality is completely transformed. Only way to go back to that sweet little coy darling girl is to have that demon that's changed your character, that's entered you into rivalries. You're short, you've got a temperance now, eh? No temperance, sorry, you've got a short fuse, always giving people attitude, you've got vibes, you're no longer fun at the bride, dude, like come on, get out hamba, you go home alone and leave everybody else to have a good time. That is never gonna change. You're gonna be the mood swinging guy. Do you understand? You're gonna be the mood swinging guy, alright? Everywhere you go. And every new person that meets you will be shocked out of their uncomfortable mind to hear stories of how you used to be. Like people be out on some, yo, you don't know. Jabu was so chill once upon a time, dude. He did this, and then you're like giving all stories about Jabu's feats back in the day. And everybody's like, really? Jabu did that? Really? Really? Jabu? Jabu, that one, ole. No way, I can't see that guy. Like being the life of I can't see that guy jive. I can't see that guy talking like other people that never knew the old you will really wonder, oh, okay, apparently he used to be this. Apparently he used to be that. Yeah, there is no getting out of that state apart from Jesus. So you will permanently be that way, but for an exorcism, but for a deliverance, but for entering into the kingdom of heaven. You don't get to have your bread buttered on both sides. Only way you will be restored to Jabua 1992 is to get delivered. So a whole bunch of people hate Jesus. They can't deal. They don't like him. They don't want him. They want freedom from the darkness. They want freedom from the macabre, the melancholy, the heavy-heartedness, the thing you drag around through the mud when you're a witch. They want freedom from that. Without Christ, there is no freedom without Jesus. The scriptures make it clear that he's the one that came to set the captives free. So if you don't want to be set free, do you, boo-boo? But don't nobody recognize you no more. And you are going to be macabre and forlorn just to remember how you used to be. And now you like you're short, eh? Short temper, boo, all over the show. So personality changes are like a whole thing in the kingdom of darkness. So let that disincentivize you from even starting. And also deliverance is a painful process. If you don't want to be gyrating on the floor, convulsing, being thrown down on the floor like with an evil spirit like that boy in the Bible, or coming out of a cave all just disheveled, saying, "What do you want with us, son of man?" If you don't want that humiliating experience, frankly, you will repent. And these days, it's 2023. Pastors and preachers, deliverance ministers don't got no respect for the fact that you'd much rather not, given that you've just gotten your nails did and your hair did, and you just have a reputation for being like a really neat, bunchy girl. You'd much rather not roll around on the floor vomiting in like a whole congregation full of people, and also have that put on YouTube. Can you do it personally? Yeah, these days deliverance ministers will tell you, but where's that clout for me? Where my clout at? If I'm going to be privately coming to your house and helping you get delivered. On top of that, like really, a house call costs money. That's 2023 for you. The apostate church full of fake deliverance ministers will insist on exorcising you or delivering you in front of 200 church members. Embarrassing much? Pentiachachos all over the show while you're crawling on the floor. And on top of that, you literally just broke a nail. And that hair, that weave, it cost a whole bunch. But it's gone now! Because the person could not care less to come and do a house call. Oh, busy. He's busy, or she's busy. Unless you come to the church and then they will help you, like, hook up a little bit of a kundalini spirit right there on the floor in front of everybody. That's what's good. So, given that is what it is that's going on in 2023, there's no honest deliverance going on, not enough anyway, all over our churches. Just don't dabble. Don't put yourself in a position to manifest demons in front of 200 people who tomorrow are going to be looking at you on some only pink that day. Pink. I don't know how many little G-strings on people's bodies I've seen on Prophet Lovi's little wannabe deliverances. And I'm like, don't nobody want to see your G-string, but I saw it on TV. But sister's like, I'm delivered. He prophesied, really? And I got to see that your G-string was blue. Anyway, if you don't want your blue G-string all over the show, just don't dabble. Proper don't dabble. Do not dabble, but you like to dabble, and the only way out is to be delivered by a true person that would be happy, prepared, given that the Lord has given us power to cast out demons in his name, to privately help you out in your house and over however long it takes, and if it is a relative, even live with them for a season. I personally have wanted to dedicate myself, and I asked the Lord's face for this, to set free one of my family members that's like she's ensnared in the worst way by living with her for however long it would take for her to get delivered. But I mean, of course, she would have to want that deliverance, and I even offered it to her, and she was like, spat all up in my grill, casting me out in the name of the devil. So I was like, okay, fine, I can't force it down your throat. How many of you got that many caring people? It's 2023. The love of many is grown cold. People are not going to dedicate hours of their lives, maybe even months on end, just helping you conquer demonic spirits. So how about you just don't dabble with the Ouija board? How about you just don't consult the Sangoma? How about you just don't? How about you get my point? You catch me. You catch. I hope you caught, guys, just like the flu. Anyway, whatever. However, I was telling you a story about character flaws and how it's not a character flaw and how a person got to get the step in and how all these randos all over the show hoping that I'm one day going to end up in their lives. And I'm not just talking about men here, but women. Banza ba lawyer, they're still little witches. They don't want Jesus. If they did, they'd probably leave me alone because they know I need peace from whatever under heaven they are. Okay, they want their bread buttered on both sides. And I know of a guy from back in the day. He was a friend of ours. I already started telling that story before I digressed, how I love to do that. Anyway, this Okima Bobby, let's say his name was Vusi. Okay, Vusi Musi. Vusi. Mega thought he was dating this lady, Jezebel. Like she was, remember what I said? Witchcraft changes her personality. My ex-boyfriend had memories of this chick when she was younger. And he said that she used to be very sweet. And I never met that version. I never met the sweet version, the greets everybody, the laughs with everybody, that the goes to every little invite thing that she's invited to, even though she's not in the mood, just so she doesn't offend the host. Apparently she used to be like that when they were all on the come up growing up. Apparently she was a sweet girl. I never met the sweet version. My cousin as well also used to know her from high school, that chick, right? And again, she also said, yo, if you knew this girl when we were in school all growing up, she used to be shy, coy, but very sweet. Whoa, okay, I only met the diva, the ice queen. I only met the chick when she opens her mouth, out comes veil, white air, cold frosty air, like a chill down your spine when she walks in. Type of chick to pass all the girls' attitude. Type of chick that, because we're all at a bri and they typically just want to make women socialize and men socialize with each other, because apparently that's just the way society is. This chick would stand amidst a bunch of girls and be with this aloof disposition, nose in the sky, almost like we all stank, almost like all of us got some halitosis, and she literally can't deal with all the bad breath coming from 10 other women at this bri. And the only people that she was talking to are those that she knew from back in the day that also knew her, like my cousin, like my ex, but everybody else she was like, and even the greeting, that banana peel, hello, my name is Karabo type thing. It's like the person doesn't want to touch your hand. It's almost as if though they're doing it because it's, decent to do so, but it's just fluffy. Yeah, this chick rocked up at a bri. First of all, a bri, alright? We're all chill, we're maxing out, and she was it's almost as though she was going to the Met Gala, but I mean, okay, some people are over the top like that. I actually had a friend that would rock up with some pretty eccentric outfits and still be cool. So I was like, your personality. If you want to rock up looking like some red carpet celebrity with feathers all over the show, as long as you good people, we'll do you, dude. We'll be cool. Yeah. Rocked up, dressed like she's going to the Durban July or the Met Gala. Okay, fine. We're chilling, however, and then she was just cold to everybody. Did not talk properly to any of the women for all of the hours that we were there until they left. Type of person that if you went to a party with them, you would leave because they make you uncomfortable, given that they keep giving you the eye on some, when are we gonna leave? When are we gonna leave? Like that kind of vibe. You get my point, right? Yeah, this chick was like that, so they left early. They were the first couple to go, and frankly, when they left it, we all felt relieved, because it was so uncomfortable to be around her. When you're trying to entertain somebody that's not even joining the party. Yeah, apparently, allegedly, she had a better personality than that. She was an ice queen. All I'd ever known was the ice queen. But according to my boyfriend and my cousin, my ex-boyfriend and my cousin, there was a better day. She was a sweeter chick once upon a time. Wow. My ex and I used to gossip a lot. Other couples, other people, because that's just what people in the world do. Okay? And he told me some pretty heavy stories about this man's experiences with his girlfriend. She wasn't a baby mama, nothing. So really, frankly, why are you still here? Go, flee before you die, brother. Apparently, this woman used to listen this guy breakfast, lunch, and dinner like no man's business, and this dude knew it. He knew it. Lesa means feed, juju, witchcraft, basically just put some strange little thing to manipulate a guy's everything. She was a witch diva. Jen, is what I'm saying. She used to manipulate the living daylights out of her boyfriend, our Vosimose, with witchcraft. All different kinds of witchcraft. And my ex-boyfriend would tell me the stories that Vosimose, his boy, would tell them as guys hanging out. He'd be like, yo, baby, ooh, what, let me give this girl a name. Let's say her name was, I don't know, Patricia. He'd be like, yo, baby, ooh, he told me, ati Patricia, me balele busuku. I'm gonna translate, okay? I the way that he said it. It's not funny. Okay, like I'm just laughing because it's all these years down the line, and frankly I should be more offended now because I can't stand witches. But anyway, she's like, yo, uvusi ati one time megalele busuku no Patricia wavuka ebusuku mongonga megaphethe indlala or lenyora or something. Wavuka or makafuna ukusebenzisa i-toilet or something, and just as he was turning makajika makajika makajikisa umzimba empetheni uPatricia mekambuke emehlweni yalena. He's like, yo, I'm a shabile matlong, like I'm a tonnet matlo, arbet when about to like he what jiga on the bed, mompetong, and then ga what's on a metlo of Patricia. And he jumped, he was like, ran to the door. While later he switched just to make sure Kuti Grashap is stealing no moon to learn and not to his cabin or something. I was hosing myself with laughter. This was before that same guy, my ex, started dabbling with sorcery against me, right? So mina for me it was like, how you gonna go tell me stories like I was mostly no Patricia? Best way now uzo Patricia boy. Like how you gonna do that? Like how you gonna make yourself that freak? Okay, so let me translate that into English. My boyfriend told me this story one time. He was like, yo babe, like Vusi told us a story saying that Patricia, his girl, one time he was sleeping in bed next to her and he wanted to wake up in the middle of the night to either like use the bathroom or eat or drink water or whatever, and just as he turned his body to wake up, bah, staring at him stark in the pitch of night, this woman was staring at him in the eye, like awake and everything, like just staring at him, and he got so freaked out that he jumped out of bed screaming, ran to the light to switch it on to make sure that it's not a thief or something, because she was just giving like wicked, weird, eerie vibes type thing. And this is what it is that this woman would endure this man through. And he would say things to my boyfriend like, nyazi for a fact ukuthi uPatricia ngidlisa kodwa mina ngiyamthanda, nyazi ukuthi busy ngami ngemithi kodwa mina ngiyamthanda. That basically means I know that she's feeding me stuff and I know that she's busy with me with witchcraft, but I love her. What am I gonna do? I'm not gonna leave. I know she's busy with me, like hectically. Wang lawyer, like umfazi wami yangithakatha boy. Image yami yangithakatha. My girlfriend is bewitching the living daylights out of me and I'm sure of it, but I can't leave because I love her. Yeah. This guy basically reduced Patricia's witchcraft on him. Uvusi, basically. Reduced Patricia to a character flaw that really and frankly you win some, you lose some, you know, you can't have a perfect person. My woman is moody every so often, but I love her. It's not like being moody. Being moody is a character flaw. Being spiritually manipulated, that's the kind of stuff that a person should flee out of the relationship upon finding out. Flee. Screaming at your husband all day long, every second weekend, is a character flaw. And if a man is happy to sit that out, ride it out because he's in love with his wife, he just can't stand the fact that she won't stop running her mouth, fine, dude, sit with your dripping tap, goop, goop, goop. But this is not somebody that is literally charting the destiny, the course of your life, making it move in whichever direction that they will have them to move. And given that Abana Maitseo, they're not God, you don't know where they're taking you or what they're doing with you or what they intend to do this ultimately and what they can ultimately do with this darkness. They can kill you, they can seize your fertility, they can mess with your manhood. My ex, for instance, did mess with my lady parts in the relationship because he didn't want me to go out on him. In other words, cheat. So he pulled some spell to mess with me down below, and I told you guys the story before. It's quite taboo. I bled for like 3 months, my period. I got my period for something like 2 to 3 months. Went from gynae to gynae to gynae, could not figure out what in the world was wrong. The bleeding stopped on its own, but one thing that definitely did not stop all the way up until we broke up was the pain during sex. And I was fornicating at the time, so I was, of course, involved in such relations as those. A pain that never existed in the beginning of our relationship up to a particular mark, maybe 2.5 years in. But then the remaining 2.5 years, sex was painful because this guy was making sure that I don't go out on him, and the collateral damage of what it is that he did to me to make sure I don't cheat on him made it such that it hurt to even be with him. So I often wonder what in the world would have happened if I did cheat on him. I probably might not have even been able to sleep with another guy. I would have had like a bad case of vaginismus or whatever, because it caused our relations to be uncomfortable. So you don't know what in the world under heaven a person involved in sorcery can do to you. So when you're a man staying with a little bit of a Jezebel that can even, you can wake up in the middle of the night and she's busy casting a spell on you, doing some demonic stuff, and you tell yourself that you love her, so you're not going anywhere. What if she messes with your sperm count? What if she messes with your ability to have babies? What if she also even messes with your ability to sleep with another woman, right? And so next thing you're out here cheating on her, and then some strange satanic demonic stuff happens while you are in bed with another woman. Not that you should be cheating, but absolutely nobody has a right to go and mess with people like that. Witchcraft is just mankind taking vengeance into their own hands, and given that we are not holy, there is no end as to what we can do to people using it. No end. So this is not a character flaw. This is something that upon finding out that it happened to you, run. So I mean, you don't just find out that your woman has cast a spell on you, or that your man has cast a spell on you, and stay. Like, you ought to hate them with perfect hatred. It's like getting back together with the guy that stabbed you 5 times. But you survived, you lived to tell the story. You went to hospital, got patched back together up again, and now you're thriving. You're thriving so much that you're even running marathons now. Yeah. And then a couple of months down the line, because he didn't get caught for the crime that he committed, because you would not press charges against him, and there was not enough evidence on the scene of the fact that he was one that did that to you, given that you're protecting a murderer, he then comes and is like, I'm so sorry for what I did. Really? Whoa. You almost killed me. Like, Papa, I could have died. I could be 6 feet under right now. But now that I'm not, you want to come and get back together. And then that woman foolishly being like, just promise me never to stab me 5 times again. For real? For what? Seriously? Just promise that you're not going to stab me 5 whole times again. That's what witches expect people to do. They expect people to write off those heinous crimes that they commit against them. They expect human beings to write them off as nothing but character flaws. Like breaking up with your boyfriend because he's got moods. And you don't like the fact that he's on and off. He's blue today, tomorrow he's green. And then he comes back, he's like, babe, I'll work on it. I'll see a therapist. I'm sorry, please take me back. And you take him back. Because you hope that, yeah, okay, you need to stop being so moody. Work on your character, brother. Work on it. Then we can talk. I can see how you would get back together with a person, if at all you broke up on those grounds. But how do you get back together with a man that cast a spell on you? Like, what the heck? How do you get back together? How do you even guarantee that he'll never do it again? How do you get back together with a person that cast a spell on you, guys? How do you, like, it's not a character flaw, it's a psychosis. It is a man stabbing you 5 times, you survive, and then you end up dating him again. You end up together, you even marry him because he promised you that he's not going to stab you 5 times again. Imagine that. When witchcraft fails to achieve the goals that it wants to achieve, oftentimes the witches want to come back into that space again. They hurt their friends, they massacre stuff, they throw boxes on the floor, they discombobulate so much in your life. And when you conquer, when you recover, when in Christ's name you basically survive what they did to you, they have the brazen audacity to knock on your door and want to come back again. They stabbed you 5 times, but they want to come back. They properly put you in a casket and they want to come back. They incarcerated you, they put you in a cave, they want to come back. They messed with your fertility, they want to come back. They messed with your lady parts, how they work, they want to come back. They messed with your health, they want to come back. They messed with your career, they want to come back. They messed with your children, they want to come back. They messed with your, because I could go on. No! It is especially when their sorcery does not work that they want to come back. Bafunubuya. They check up, they always try to check to see if their witchcraft worked. And when then they find out it didn't, they then want to slide back into your life again. Like an evil man on Facebook DMing you or whatever. They properly try to come back, inevitably. But the thing that they did to you, if it had succeeded, you very potentially might not even be alive. You very potentially might not have yourself intact You might have contracted a disease that is incurable. You might have lost your womb. You might have lost your mind, your degree. You might have gotten fired from your job. Like, there is so much incredible damage that could have happened if their sorcery worked. But when it doesn't, because you still have your job, you still got your degree, you still had your babies, you still got your future, how are you going to let your attempted murderer back in? How are you going to let your attempted thief back in? It's not a character flaw that you can work on through therapy and talking about it and, making some adjustments. This is not something it's not a hurdle you can overcome. You can't just jump over it. You just can't. That's why I hate them, because they are entitled, and when they do the things that they do, they don't consider that if at all it should fail, they may very potentially regret what they did and want to come back. They never want Jesus, largely, but they want the people who they hurt. Because now they realize, oh goodness, no. In so competing, I lost a friend. I would much rather have the friend now. It's okay. And then they say, I won't do it again. The very thing that made your eyes so green that you would bewitch your girl's entire career until she gets fired. Honey, it's going to rear its ugly head again. It's going to rear its ugly head again. They need to go to God. They need to go to Jesus and leave their victims alone. It's not a character flaw that you can just jump over. It is something that is a shift altogether of spiritual matters in the cosmos that then manifest in physical waking space. Most people of which don't even know that this is what's going on. And so whatever is the massacre that happens, the carnage that happens in your life, is often perused by those looking on as physical life happens. Whereas this was a manipulation by someone near and dear to you of events in your life so as to bring about that carnage, that calamity. Diabazonda. I hate them with perfect hatred. Do you understand? Because given the anonymous nature of what they do, they often never even really say sorry because they're too embarrassed to even confess that they cast a spell on you. They would much rather make you feel like you're dumb. Gaslighting is their best weapon. They gaslight the living daylights out of you. Gaslighting is their primary weapon because of the fact that they deny it. They make like Shaggy. It wasn't me, but she saw you on the counter. It wasn't me. You even saw her in the shower. It wasn't me. Even caught you on camera. It wasn't me. They say it wasn't me. They deny it, Joe. How are you going to live with a person sitting with you, eating lunch and everything, breaking bread, that denies that they altered your life in the cosmos in an unseen fashion, making the world around you thinking bad, making the world around you thinking that you've just got bad luck, you're just an unfortunate female. That's what's good. Making the world around you wonder what's going on, Lana. It's so weird. All of a sudden, all of a sudden, for what? Nah, it's not all of a sudden. No muntu pogile. Malkata lapo. Maumpaqile. When you bust them, when you catch them, just like this random female from South Africa, they gaslight you. They deny you. Not only do they deny it, but they also then call you names. They're the ones walking with the psychosis, but then they literally go out of their way to call you crazy. They call you crazy. They call you insane. They revile your character after failing to decimate your life. They revile your character after failing to destroy you. They say, I didn't do it. However, if whatever it is that they tried to do to you had succeeded, they would have gloated over you and even spat on your casket as it was being lowered. This woman from South Africa, the Lord showed me her attempt. She wanted to come back into my space, still with a gaslighting thing, where she would basically be like, you and this spiritual gift of yours that's accusing everybody of everything, cease and desist, stop right now. Then I'll be like, come on, I'll help you, I'll support you. But you need to stop accusing people of things they didn't do. Whoa, if I had stopped my ministry like you wanted me to, if I had stopped working out like you had wanted me, you would have gloated over my casket as it was being lowered because I committed suicide. Yet you want to rock up and cling ukuthi mina la emgaqweni ngiyahlang delela kabuhlungu ngiyabazonda labantu with a perfect hatred. Same thing with the guy in America. He wanted to come back into my space. Send me an email one time. I'm sorry for ghosting you. Really? You apologize for ghosting me. How about you apologize for casting a spell? I might have more respect for you if you did that. I might actually accommodate a conversation with you if you said I did some voodoo on you, girl, but I was dumb. I'm sorry. I've sought the Lord's face. At least you confessed. But instead, when I highlighted that I know what you did last summer, and we practice he then decided to, again, just like with the chick from South Africa, gaslight the living daylights out of me, tease me. The little bugger made a decision that he's gonna tease me and say things along the lines of, maybe you should go and see somebody because you've obviously got a mental illness. Like proper. I highlight the thing that triggered him, that pushed him over the edge to tease me like this, was me telling him about a spell that he cast on me. He sent to me after he consulted with a spiritist because he understood himself as too amateur to cast a height of spell that he wanted to cast on me. So he sought out the services of an experienced higher order witch, and it was a Jamaican person. I don't know if it was a man or a woman. I'm getting female, but I'm not really sure. He went and consulted a witch that was not even in America, but in Jamaica, and paid that person however many US dollars to cast a spell on me. And the Lord showed it to me by revealing the flag of Jamaica linked to this guy and sorcery, telling me that this time around he consulted a sorcerer or a sorceress in Jamaica. And when I told him about the Jamaican sorcery, that's what triggered him. That's what sent him off the edge, because it was such extreme witchcraft. It was out of his own realm of abilities. He couldn't do the spell himself. He needed somebody mad dealing with far haughtier spirits, because when he tried it on me in his own personal capacity, it failed. So he went to umuntu wase Jamaica, and when I raised that's when he was like, you need to see somebody was shine. Gaslighting. The same guy to this day is still casting spells to see if he can't come back into my life with the same strategy. I don't know what you're talking about. I'm not a witch. Get the stepping. Get out. I mean, the patronizing behavior of witches is so berating. It is so infuriating that I don't even want to deal with them. And bafuni, the only ones that I accommodate in my life are the ones I can't get rid of because they're family members. But everybody else, doslem, completely written off. They will never come back in. I can deal with the gaslighting of my sister, my gaslighting of my mom. I can deal with the gaslighting of my cousins, my aunties, my uncle, and whatever. Do you, because you're out here, you're right in my face. What can I do? I can't choose my blood. I really can't. But I certainly can choose water. I can choose water. I will not stay with umuntu, be it a friend or a lover, a fiance, somebody with whom I'm gonna get married. Once I find out that you've cast even one spell on me, done. Over. Pelil. I am not looking back. So if you want salvation, if you want to be set free from the rubbish you're involved in, because they are so embarrassed upon getting busted that they cannot say I did it. Manja, how you gonna go and let your abuser, how you gonna let your abuser right back in your life? Guys, I have a spiritual gifting where I see a lot of rubbish that people are doing, and there isn't, and I am not even lying here, not even one person that was busted, caught red-handed, had this communicated to them. In other words, me talk to them about it, me let them know that God showed me this about you, and really it's water under the bridge. I tried to have a softer approach to it. All right, I'll give you a case in point. My cousin, when I first found out about her witchcraft, I was still working in corporate South Africa. I dreamt about her in an environment, right, where there were small little snakes. They looked like they could have been giant worms, right? Yeah, giant worms. They were still small, right? And they were all over the show. And my cousin was busy petting them. And in my dream, I was like, let me give her a name. Let's say also Patricia. Let's say her name is also Patricia. I was like, Patricia, cousin. In my dream, that's what I was telling her, right? And I also had a similar dream with my friends, by the way, right? Where they were chilling with each other in some kind of a restaurant. And I was also telling them, stop playing with these little snakes, right? I told my cousin, stop playing with these little snakes because they're going to grow. They're going to grow. And when they grow, you're not going to be able to handle them. They're going to become big, chunky pythons. They're going to become anacondas. You're not going to be able to handle them. That was the Lord showing me that she was involved in sorcery. I would then go on from that point to get a lot more dreams about my cousin showing me the exact type of attacks that she's put on my life, like the one with the sneakers whose shoelaces were tied and I tried to run and I fell apart, and the one shoe represented my career and the other one represented my degree, and my cousin was like, in your pursuit of both things, you're going to just fall apart. They cast a spell of that nature against me, right? So I would go on to find out a lot of other things that my cousin did spiritually to me. All this money she pays to spiritists and whatnot, involvements in cults and what have you. But this one particular dream, when I got it was still in the very beginning stages of her insanity, right? And God showed me telling her in my dream that these snakes are still small. They're still babies. Kill them all now while they're still small before they do too much damage. And she in my dream was irritated with me. She was angry. She kept on petting them and ignoring everything I'm saying. Lo and behold, the very next day, I didn't even waste time. I sent her an email. I was like, Patricia, God showed me in a dream that you're involved in some strange things and that you've also done stuff to me. But don't worry, I'm covered by the Lord Jesus Christ. None of this stuff is going to befall me. However, you, on the other hand, are going to be in a lot of trouble if you carry on. It's water under the bridge. You're my cousin. I love you. I forgive you for what you've done to me, but stop right now. She did not respond to my email. Instead, she just cast more and more spells on me. So basically, her reaction in my dream became her reaction in waking life: an irritation, a passive aggression, and a persistence to just carry on. I would then later on, about 2 or 3 years down the line, this time around in persecution, after getting that first dream, to get a second dream, a similar one. I got a similar dream about 2 to 3 years down the line, and by now I was already suffering like no man's business. I'd lost everything. And in this dream, we were no longer in a restaurant, but it was the backyard of some old school house called Soweto, where we all grew up. Do you understand? So, like, again, just history. Whenever you see old places, it suggests a lot of involvement of sorcery. And the dream was similar in that there were snakes all over that yard. Okay, all over that yard. And they were huge this time around. They were big snakes. And guess what this bugger was doing? Running away from the snakes. Hiding in, in Soweto, there are outside bathrooms. Not bathrooms, but toilets. Just a toilet. She ran into that toilet and hid in it while I was busy dealing with these snakes by myself. I was busy being the one to jump up on some and then chop the heads off of the anacondas that she created, of the serpent, the pythons that she grew. She ran away from them while I was busy chopping off their heads. And the dream ended. When I woke up, again, I was in persecution, I was suffering, I was going through a lot. I was like, typical. But by then I was angry. By then I was so mad that I did not care to send an email or whatever because she had ignored me. She was hopping around, running all over the show, and I was the one charged with the responsibility to bulala madimoni waki. I had, like I said, a similar dream with friends, with my whole crew of girlfriends from high school. That's how God exposed them. If anything, they all got individually exposed, but they also got exposed as a group. The whole entourage chilling at a restaurant, petting tiny little snakes. And I was like, Bangani, girls, no, stop. Like, don't do this thing. Kill these snakes before they get too big. And all of them ignored me, pretended I wasn't even there. Acted like I wasn't even in the room. And now today, all those snakes have grown. They're huge, and I bet they're all busy running into a toilet while I'm the one busy can say chopper off the heads of these snakes. What is the tantamount of me fighting these snakes? The spiritual war that I'm in now. What are they doing? Their lives are a mess. They're running away from what they started. They're gaslighting. They're pretending it's not even there. They're hiding from the calamity they caused, leaving the Christian to chop off and kill the heads of the snakes that they grew, that they petted, like an irresponsible person raising a tiger in the house, and then it eats them. That's what I'm dealing with right now. So when I say ngiyabazonda labantu with a perfect hatred, ngibazamile, there is not even one witch that I have ever gone to let know that I know what they did last summer that ever changed their tone and apologized. I literally don't even have a single case, guys. And Kibazambek off the American guy, I told him, I know what you're doing. South African chick told her, I told them, and their reaction has all but been the same. All of them. There isn't even one that tells me hope lana for lezinja. Not even one. One time when I was all upset in all of the sorrow of mine, in all of this persecution that I've been enduring for all of these years, I sent my cousin an email, and it was based on a dream that I got. She again did not respond. Unlike other people who would respond to me with inflammatory emails, like her dad, other people, however, when they just ignore me, they shapaka silent treatment, as if though that's going to cure the facade that you are, walking around as a faker and a poser. Lena, I sent her an email. Do you understand? On some, I understand, based on what the Lord is showing me, that you can't stand the term witch. You can't handle uzonda being called umtagat. Kaze, how you gonna hate being called umtagat ndowe utagat? How you gonna hate being called a witch when you are bewitching? She could not stand the terminology. My cat's having a cat fight outside with another cat. I'm not gonna intervene. Just like Ikaznyam thinks that she can dwanela for herself. I can't stand the black cat that's always all up in my cat's grill as well. Yatina. It's all about Louis Bagofela. Habakopan. And when it's not its own territory. Anyway, whatever. This cousin of mine, I sent her an email on some the audacity. You can't stand being name called. You hate the word witch. You hate the word muloyi, mulotsana. Whatever might be the various permutations of this particular terminology. Sorcerer, sorceress, witchy, witchai, whatever you want to call yourself. Wizard of Oz, Dorothy, Lento iyo, Sangomandu, Awitandi. You don't like the terminology. So how in the world, when you don't like that particular label on you, Sataneto, are you doing it? I sent her an email also. Why are you busy bewitching when you don't want to be called a witch? If you want to be called a sweetheart and a darling, then you better be sweet and you better be darling. But you're not darling, neither are you sweet. We are tagat. Well, of course, Wangizeba, because that's what she does. For telling them where to get off. I am as ostracized as I am right now because of that nonsense. So when I say I hate these people with a perfect hatred, it is only because abalalele. Like I've stewed and now I'm perfectly cooked. They have put me in a position. Do you understand what I'm saying? I have gotten here because I have tried. I have tried decade, 10 years kaofela batho ba ntse ba deny ntho ba yentseng le ha evidence e goka when the evidence is staring like literally deeply into your eyes of their involvement in darkness, and you are still saying it wasn't me. It's Shaggy, I even had her in the shower, it wasn't me. Really, it wasn't me. Pumpel di tobengana tsena di mpeile thogako kere on the tip of my tongue, the way ke ba trailing ka teng. I can't deal. Ba funela ba zonde ba kande khona ngya ba zonda with perfect hatred, and I am entirely justified to do that because they ain't sorry. That's just the thing. But bina like Beyonce, sorry, I'm not sorry. Or Elia Demi Lovato, baby, I'm sorry, I'm not sorry. Properly. Like my whole life, like I'm literally gathering dust at the almost the age, like I'm 39. Do you understand? Like everything that I've ever had as a dream in the least they owe me is an apology and say mara instead they are insisting on bona psychiatrist cause ke bona dintho ke utlwa di voice. I'm schizophrenic nna ke a hlang bophelo ba ka bo tshwatlile ga botlhoko ga kana. My life is so ebe nna ke tlo shebana le baloi ba bang ba tlang ba bantsha ba tlang ka morago like proper people I met yesterday day before nje phela ba funa ukokotela emkaqeni on my door on some ekarabo no ka se tlo accuse lefatse kaofela of declare. Anyway, how you doing girl, I miss you. Yes, like it doesn't put man pale ngiyabazonda with a perfect hatred. I hate them. And one of the greatest reasons why I feel this way about them is because they ain't sorry. They were waiting to say aha when you fell apart, and when then you don't fall apart, they want to come and knock on your door and they're not even sorry. Not about to go and confess that they're into voodoo, not about to confess that they poked a doll with needles hoping that it would pierce my own heart, not about to confess the fact that you literally put me in a casket and left me for dead, but then when I survived like it. But the audacity. I'm sorry, witchcraft is not a character flaw. It is a psychosis, the kind of stuff that you ought to avoid a person if you don't want to find yourself in a grave. But he wants to rock up and be like, I don't know what you're talking about, Karabo. I didn't do any of that stuff. Whoa. Wants to make me second guess about the fact that the Lord showed me that he's got HIV. Wants to pretend that that's not a thing until I test positive for HIV. Then he's going to claim you've had it all along. Really? I've had HIV all along. So you're basically claiming that my ex-boyfriend gave me HIV because I haven't slept with anybody else in 12 years. And I'm so strong in the body that Lena did not do anything to me despite not being on ARVs or any intervention at all. Nothing. I mean, there was a time when I was even starving, not getting food in my body. You would imagine that a person who's HIV positive, if they do that, they would be knocked out to the ground in just 6 months. No. I live. Over and above the fact that after my ex and I broke up, something like 2 or 3 times I took an HIV test to make sure that I'm okay. So this dude would then tell me that I tested positive because I had it all along, and who knows, maybe I gave it to him. Whoa. Kabang. Char. Yar. The Lord showed me he tested positive for HIV. And after he showed me, this guy disappeared for a season and then tried to come back. I had a dream where he was wearing a condom on some whoa guys, as in, I'm not even gonna get into the details of that dream, trying to basically make me embrace lengulaza yakhe. Within about 3 days of getting that dream, I got an email from him, and I told it for something like 3 to 4 months. Nahan, he tests positive, he stews on it, he stews, and he's like, I'm going to make her accept me with HIV. Like, that is the kind of stuff that witches do. And it was during that same season that I told him about his little Jamaican witch, and he denied it to a point of calling me crazy. I never raised the HIV because I knew I was not going to be with him, and I didn't want to rub it in his face because it probably really hurt to test positive. He did not stop trying to come back, and finally I told him, what do you want with me? Kangulas. He has never written me ever since then, but he is still busy gadiklar. So a man that would deny first and foremost that he ever tested positive for HIV and deny that he ever put voodoo all up in my grill. Okay, I now gotta go and marry that. Kilo fu angulaza na over and above tabaro kitlone kinse kitumpwa as like some kind of a punching bag by a man. Abusang basadi. Like I would have been drunk in a marriage all the way up until I died, because I would have likely died at his hands. That's what's good. After embracing a man that simply said sorry and then convinced me using witchcraft, manipulating my brain yet again. I hate them. Like, how do you not hate that? It is not sorry. And the Lord he does not delight in them either. You must understand, Jacob I loved, Esau I hated. This is the kind of stuff that causes the winepress of the wrath of God to reach a height. It is a holy hatred because they have no contriteness. Just an entitlement. Bafunubuya. And they know that they have gaslit the living daylights out of a lot of people in the past that have suspected them of this thing that they did and succeeded to make people second guess their own reality and gone back into their lives again. But when, like, my ex's boy, Uvosmose, that example that I made with the guy whose name I gave Vosi, when you suspect that your woman is bewitching the living daylights out of you to a point where you will even tell tall tales to your friends about your experiences under a witch girlfriend, and then go on to however say, Kodwa nyamthanda, you had it coming when this woman ends up destroying you, putting you 6 feet under, ransacking you in some way, leaving you crazy as a man, mentally insane. Because after she decided she was done with you, she decided to render you worthless in the mind, mess with your finances, your career, everything. So now, goes two series, how's that driver? Mostly no longer are you driving, boy, because Patricia dealt with you. Now she is done with him, and shapa 2 series pedestrian. Because every car that is ever driven gets written off written off until insurance doesn't pay. I'm at claims why. Okay, so now paying off a car that he's no longer driving. Vosmosi is out in the streets. Akomba. Kalamari taxi go bri. Over and above it, Abapomeka go breathe because there is the Joburg explosion and the fire. That's what's good. That's what witches do. When they're done with you, babodla. However, because they are witches, they're not gonna just leave you alone. They don't just leave you alone. They tell themselves, no. They tell themselves that I'm gonna burp now, but nobody else is gonna get to enjoy all the delicacies that I enjoyed from being with you. So they lay men waste, they lay women waste. How or how hana continually when you refuse to continue to be with them, they then finish you off. So no, guys, I'm sorry. Witchcraft is not a character flaw. It is a psychosis, the kind that Hannibal Lecter had. Anybody at all that's going to make a point out of staying in a relationship with Hannibal Lecter because they've got feelings for him, understand one day you're going to be the meat on his plate that he's eating since he is a cannibal. You're going to be wasted. They are unforgivable because they want no forgiveness. They do not want Jesus. They just want to get away with this murder. And like I said, when their witchcraft doesn't work, they come back. They come back all grubby, however, wearing a suit of honesty. And they try to come back, and when you tell them, but I had a dream. Yo, guys, when I was dating my ex, one time I woke up and I was with him on that particular weekend, and I woke up in the morning next to him after having dreamt about being encircled by a sea of snakes, sitting on a wall that was the only thing that was preventing me from getting devoured by these snakes. And in the distance, I saw him passing. I was like, boyfriend. And he looked at me and just ignored me and walked on. And I was left destitute in this environment. I woke up and I told my ex, I was like, yo, babe, I had like the weirdest, ugliest dream. This is what happened. And when I started to describe the dream to him, the way he rebuffed me, my ex was not one to rebuff me or interject my words. But that day, he wore a character that I'd never seen. He acted like I was talking rubbish. He pretended like he did not understand what in the world that dream was showing me. So the way that he rebuffed me, I then let it go. That was one of the first things that God was showing me. Mara, I was still blind at the time. It was only like 3-4 years into the relationship. It was still a bit of a stretch before we would break up. So that was like, I guess, the beginning of the end for us. I then had another colleague that would later basically contribute to the entire destruction of my career. That was my very close friend, some Indian girl at MTN, had a dream of being in a swimming pool drowning while she was like sitting at the ledge watching me drown. Ultimately, she stood up and left while I was screaming her name on some colleague, friend, I'm drowning. And she just walked away. Next morning, I go to work. Before I understood my spiritual gifting, on some, yo, girl, I had the weirdest dream about you. And when I started to tell her the dream again, just like my boyfriend, rebuffed me, act like it's not a thing, gaslighting the living daylights out of me until I let it go. Lo and behold, about a year later, I drowned and she washed from a ledge and walked away. At her hands, this happened. Boloi, all over the show. They just gaslight. They act like it didn't happen. They pretend that you are crazy. And the world will more than likely believe them first before they believe you. Because the thing that you accuse them of, absent of providing proof, they then have got the benefit of the doubt. So they leave people cold, high and dry, with no support for something they suspect that they have a hunch over, but that everybody in society is even happy to say, no, girl, you're being paranoid. And that's how they prosper sometimes, to come back into the lives of the people that they afflicted. Because enough gaslighting, even by all of society who don't understand spiritual war, will bring you back into the life of your murderer, your psychopath, your killer, your abuser, your afflictor, the person that is going to literally hold you as a puppet on a string in a relationship relationship. It's a spirit, do you understand? The whole house is just teeming at the folds with demonic spirits that are holding you in a bunch. Indoda ibhizi ngawe, hard knock. He's your husband. He's busy putting babies in your stomach that are getting born with hard knock generational curses, and you don't even know that you are a captor living with umuntu, or that's made you isboshwa sakhe in the house. And when you finally decide ukuthi hayi mina ngiyahamba, you break free, you break loose despite how much akuvimbe ngakhona bese yakubulala. Or make sure that you don't ever get anywhere in life. Akubhihlisa osama kuzoba njabulo empilweni yakho futhi ever again. Batawe batsiriana ke ba batlile mo bagadileng teng. When I say I hate them with perfect hatred, I am sticking to my guns and I'm not changing them. And for me, the audacity of people to try the same stance that people have done on me over 12 years of my Christianity, it's so brave. It's brazen, guys. It's audacious. The fact that there are new witches rocking up in my life, like this idiot from South Africa and this menace from America, thinking that you can pull a ex-boyfriend on me and then I'm just gonna fall for it. Thinking that you can pull like basically anything at all that my former friends, my cousin, all these randos have done, repeat offender. Hey? Like freaking adding insult into my injuries, that's what good. Repeat offender, and then I will take you? Sure. It is just a recipe for hard knock PTSD, do you understand? A hard knock recipe for PTSD. Like literally repeat offenses. It's like being in a relationship where a man beats you to a pulp. You get out of that, you survive with your life, you're healed. 5 years later, you marry a man that beats you to a pulp again. It's like you can't escape. You will feel cursed. That's what these witches are like, and they are increasingly being added. They're all over. They're your colleagues. They live among us. They are teachers teaching your children at school. They are your best friend. Your sister, your uncle, your brother, the taxi driver that takes you to school, to work. The passengers. They're the bus driver. They're the clerk at the store that sells clothes. They are the bank teller. They are everywhere. And there's no escaping them but for Jesus, do you understand? Mudimu kena fela that will help you see them for what they are. And if you don't want to end up bitter and angry, like Karabo, you will avoid them from the get-go. Ask the Lord to give you a spiritual gift. And as soon as you see one, before they even become your friend for 3 weeks, just cut them off. Don't take their calls anymore. They'll just slowly pull away. Because they'll imagine that that's the kind of personality that you have. Kind of person to, yesterday we had a house on fire relationship conversation. Next thing, she's not taking my calls. You never know people. Anyway, whatever. I only knew her for 2 weeks. As soon as the Lord just cut them off. And they will just think you have a personality issue where you just cut people off that you meet because you just, you're that bad guy. And they'll leave you alone. But if you let them groove into your life, set like makeup on your face, yes, like it. But they will irritate you. They will like make like a pest and try to come back over and over again. They will make like a boomerang. And every time they will bring stronger and hotier witchcraft from stronger and hotier sangomas. You literally will never hear the end of it. But with the spiritual gift, you are going to be enabled and empowered, do you understand, to just after knowing them for 2 weeks, ghost them because they are in dire need of being ghosted. That's my new strategy now. Every person, since there are so many freaking witches everywhere, I seek the Lord's face to find out, are they involved, are they like proper. The dude in America, he was exposed immediately, but I stuck around. I accommodated him because I thought I was seeing things and hearing things. Chick from South Africa, soon as she sent me an email, the Lord told me jealous, like it's so loud, the Holy Spirit. I still responded to her email. If I had ignored her, she would have thought I'm one of those people who presents a particular personality in front of everybody, acting like I'm all loving of souls in Jesus, but when you write her a personal email, she doesn't respond. She will have thought of me as a person that is duplicitous, and whatever it is that I show on YouTube, whatever it is that I present on YouTube, is just a facade. She would have been made to believe that, but at least I'm protected by her belief of my character flaw, rather than have to bring a pest into my life that's going to keep on trying to make like a boomerang over and over again. Get it clear. And this chick, like, she just bewitched my exercise, like recently. Like, once you bring them in your hair, I promise you they will be like lice. Do you know how they remove lice out of hair? It's an individual process, guys. You literally have to go to a doctor or keep an eye lice one by one, or and start from scratch. But if you don't want to lose all of your hair, you literally have to go to almost like for surgery. And after washing your hair with a particular shampoo that kills them, you then have to get them individually extracted out of your head. It is a whole journey. It's a process. But it is so easy for them to come in your head and start to multiply and start magnifying. Like, it's so easy. Like one child that has lice in school, her head gets close to your kid, and after 3 days, it's already like a party, a jungle in your child's head. Scratching. And if your child does not want to lose all of her mane of hair, she has to wash with a special shampoo, take some pills. Over and above that, go and see a doctor, or if the mother has energy, individually pick out the lice. If you don't want to deal with that kind of lice infestation in your hair, don't get close to the girl with the lice in her hair in the first place. Like, just avoid her. Avoid her altogether. So what I'm saying right now is that the Lord will tell you, this chick from South Africa, the lice that she is, the thing that she is, God showed me the moment she wrote me a letter in my blog, the form, before I read it, go fella, and responded to her, copying her email address and putting it in my email address to respond to her because I was grateful for her writing me. God was like jealous, the word jealous, like I don't know how many times the Holy Spirit kept saying it. And she responded typically after like 3 days, because she was even thinking whether or not to respond to me. Because character. Do you understand what I'm saying? I responded to her after maybe like 5 days because I only checked my email or that blog 5 days later. And she decided to write on her screen. There is already competition issue, altercation in that. Her responder until about a week later, by then I'd already forgotten that I even responded to her. And when she responded to me and I read her email, again, as soon as I clicked on the email, the Holy Spirit, jealous. I should have just ignored her. I should have just listened to the Holy Spirit. Instead, I went on to communicate with her. And then inevitably, predictably, she cast a spell on me. Because Mona Wahare, that has been magnified by demons, made her bewitch a woman that she knew had a spiritual gift to see such things as these. I was warned. If I had just allowed this woman to believe I'm one of those people that don't respond to emails, and I'm pretending I'm a good girl, I love people, and I respond to emails of saints because I love to fellowship with brothers and sisters, if at all I had allowed her to believe, if I had allowed that little animal to believe that I am a shallow little woman that pretends she's deep, she would have left me alone. She would have just done what jealous people do when they imagine they have found a gold mine of dirt on someone they envy. She would have just been like, learning vele, you could see vele, or she was arrogant. She would have just left it with that and gone on with her fatso behind, walking these streets, telling herself, Uguti, the chick on YouTube that I low-key envied, that I wrote, did not write me back, because she's pompous. She's arrogant. She would have left, that would have been where it ended. And that would have been it. Last time 5 seconds. Not witchcraft. Lice in my head, but right now I'm a chickie that's out here using a special shampoo for 3 weeks and individually picking lice out of my hair because I let a witch into my life. That is gaslighting the living daylights out of me. After they lash onto you, there are ticks, there are bed bites, there are microorganisms. By going to a doctor for him or her to then identify whether you've got a pest on your skin, you have a parasite, you've got hookworm, you've got ringworm. Girl, you got yourself some mites. You've got lice, you have got pubic lice, you've got whatever. You've got something definitely that we need to deal with a hard knock, super antibiotic, because it's like super gonorrhea. Because you decided to go and lay in bed. Let's Satan. Allow the Lord to show you before they come in. Rather be accused, do you understand what I'm saying? Of having character flaws that don't belong to you, of being called the kind of person that ghosts people, of being called the kind of person that thinks you all that in a bag of chips, the kind of person that thinks they defecate ice cream. Allow them to give you all different kinds of epithets, do you understand? To title you all different kinds of strange names, give you all different kinds of social sobriquets, so that you can go on right ahead and put them up on a wall in heaven someday, of being reviled on account of the name of Jesus Christ. If you don't want to enter into a spiritual war for days on end, years on end, this guy wako America, it's almost 2 years. It's like a year. It's been a year and a couple of months now. Next year it'll be 2 years. He's gonna pass away. Do you understand? They don't go anywhere. They are a host of parasites all up in your grill because they're not even sorry. Their demons are having a field day with them. And every time they try and find a deliverance minister, bako panali bushirli yubit angel, bako panali prophet Lovi, someone that's gonna put more demons in them because of the great apostasy. Literally, these people have got to self-deliver because in your life they're destructive. Now I regret accommodating any of them. The guy from America, the woman from South Africa, God told me jealous. The dude from America, the Lord told me from the get-go, roofies. In other words, he's put a spell to make you love him. Roofies. But I carried on anyway. Some other white dude from America, I haven't been speaking about him that much because he tried one time and stopped. As soon as I got an email from him, the Lord said distraction, 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 like distraction. That was the word. What did Karabo do? Respond to an email. Dumbo. Now, Shapagak Zibarization, ang tata ma DM. I don't take DMs. I don't take emails. I don't talk to nobody. Nobody. Do you understand what I'm saying? Nobody. Because I literally am not trying to bring more lice in my hair. I don't like to have to individually extract the infestation of these cockroaches out of my ecosystem. I am tired of spiritual war. So now my strategy is avoidance. I will only deal with the demons that keep on getting sent to me by the animals that so far have lodged in my hair and don't want to go. But I'm not letting new ones come in. That's my strategy. Is that a woman suffering from PTSD? Trauma? Yes. But for good reason. This is war. I gotta put on my armor. There's no time fraternizing. Random rubbish like Katweni. Hey girl, let's go have pizza at Primi Piatti. Next thing, you out your in my hair as a brand spanking new bed bug. I'm sorry. No. No more. So, tsamayang lidi satane tsa lona tse tauweng ha e bana le batla modimo. Mara ke a le ka tlhaloganya hore modimo tla le thusa hore le lo fumigate ga e bana le accommodate le nyoko. Mara rather avoid la tlhaloganya. Avoidang. Avoidance is the only way out. And the way that you avoid an infestation, a new creepy little random, stealthily, perniciously worming their way into your life, is to seek the Lord's face. Every single time a new person wants to get closer than a brother in your life. A lot of times witches love to get, they cozy up to you precisely because they've been sent by the devil. So when a person is cozying up to you, when they are friendlier than normal, when they are always all up in your girl calling you, trying to hook up a lunch date, trying to pray with you, ask the Lord, seek his face. And then when he confirms to you who only issue, goes to them, even if it means they will revile you, calling you all different kinds of character flaws, giving you all different kinds of epithets, naming you something that you are not, because you are better off avoiding them with them ngapelaring you and then walking away than you having to fumigate. I hope you've been edified. Do I hate witches with perfect hatred? Why? Because they are gaslighters. And they would go to God and ask for forgiveness. Instead, they try to come to me. That's why I can't stand them. I have not even dealt with one that has proven that they can do a 180 bad change. So why would I change my mind about them? Why? I ain't changing my mind. The only thing that would change my mind to make me think as if I were to encounter some kind of a miracle by Jesus Christ who would show me has actually done a 180. I would have to be shown by God very personally and very directly because I don't deal with them. Decade yoyotle dealing with witches, guys, that never say sorry. Hade bade, like proper no sorry, it's okay. Alright, demo life. Isolation, who better than the lies one could the more the eyelashes in the brow, pubic area mirroring. Get right. Ha ke batlo nna ntse ke ngwaya because ba qadile mo ba lisitse diphala tsa bona ba nkiseditse madimon ke right ke so right ha e bane ga o tlhaloganye se go I'm sorry because a lot of the time I'm speaking to people who are in my country. I apologize if at all you don't understand my language. I don't like them. I don't want them. I hate them with perfect hatred because they are hateable. I might change my mind one day if I meet 1 or 2 or 3 in these streets that actually repent when called to do so, that make like that woman at the well who Jesus told everything about her life, and then she celebrated that by telling everybody and said, I met a man who told me everything about my life. When you meet somebody with a prophetic gifting who tells you, I know what you did last summer, you don't go and right ahead and gaslight them, then revile their name all over society calling them crazy, and then expect the Lord to give you favor. Christ, when he tells you your life story, you ought to rejoice, tell everybody about him, and then say, I know someone who told me everything about my life. That is how you respond to people with a prophetic gifting, witches. Otherwise, you will earn for yourself a perfect hatred from the prophet that says, I know what you're doing, stop. If a person comes and tells you, you're a lawyer, your response must be, like the one with the woman at the well, appreciate that the Lord saw your fornications, your adulteries, and yet he was prepared to forgive you. Don't make like my cousin, who ignored me and then went on right ahead to grow bigger snakes, whose heads I am now today chopping on her freaking behalf. You have to repent, otherwise you will create a great deal of animosity, hostility, and irritation in the person that has been sent to identify you are a terrorist here in the community and you need to stop. We are your bandage. We are your nurses and your doctors. That's why we see the things you do. We are not here to be gaslit by you and be married by you and be befriended by you, break bread with you while you bewitch our lives further, gaslighting us, telling us I hope you've been edified. I'm signing out in Christ's name. Bye.